Hey everyone, Mr. Toast here. Just want to let you know you can watch the podcast and interact with other viewers live on twitch.tv/convictedtoast. Enjoy the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Mixed Media with Mr. Rager and Mr. Toast. Finally covering it's been our biggest project so far. We're here at the end. We're happy you're here with us as well, but I don't know how I don't have any tissues. Do you bring tissues?
I got a couple somewhere. I gotta dig around for them. We are finally covering the final season, part 2, and part 3 and part 4 of Attack on Titan. The final two parts are just two really long episodes. It was complicated.
Well, they're kind of split into four, like two really long episodes and 2 hour long specials. So like four really long episodes, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Simpsons. You watch up until the Simpsons movie comes out, and you watch that as the finale, and the show ended after that. You don't watch anything past that. That's kind of what this is. These are the final two movies of Attack on Titan that adapt the final, like, 9 or 10 chapters of the manga with some, like, added, changes for your digestion.
Yeah.
So, let's get started with, the final season, part 2. I'm gonna pull this up just so I make sure we don't talk about any I don't wanna talk in out of order 'cause
Yeah.
it starts with a lot of revelations, and then it just keeps going and going and going. This is essentially a season's worth of content, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
Where we left off last time was a huge cliffhanger for
yeah,
any previous viewers or anybody that watched up to that point with us and has been waiting.
yeah, we ended with what, Peak on the roof, and she kind of mimics Erwin's thing with the enemies right there, and then we see the Zeppelins flying overhead, and we realize that there's war on Parody.
Yeah.
So, season 4, technically episode 17, Judgment. Um, Trying to think what all happens in this one. I know we get a lot of battle scenes. We see the Browse family kind of helping out, and Zeke is trying to get to Aaron, and Aaron is trying to get to Zeke.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think anything really like overly crazy happened. Like we get to see the start of the battle, and there's some really cool shit. We see the anti-Titan cannon.
Yeah. I think a large part of this episode is more focused on Falco and Gabby and like kind of putting them more in the headspace of they're not demons, they're like us.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of have that realization. Like, wait a minute, we're all the same people,
Yeah.
and they're trying to help fight Aaron too. Because at this point they're not sure what Aaron's gonna do. They're trying to stop him. They're trying to kind of pull him apart, and she realizes that a lot of the soldiers there, they're kind of scared. They don't know what's gonna happen. They heard that Aaron and Zeke are gonna euthanize people at this point. So they're not quite sure. Then we get sneak attack, which this is where Flock or not Flock, Jesus, God, what's his name?
Uh
The one that's with Peak, that
oh.
original Jaw,
Uh oh god.
Porco, isn't it? Porco.
I can't remember. I don't think it's Porco.
I think that's what uh they call him though. Like that's what yeah, no, it is Porco. Porco Galliard.
Galliard, that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the
Yeah,
last name.
uh so he's killed in this episode if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Pretty much near in death, and it's revealed we knew about the wine. We know a bunch of the higher ups drank the wine, and Zeke uses the beast to start awakening them. Meanwhile, Aaron is kind of charging down the street. We see Gabby with this anti-Titan rifle, and she looks across the street and she sees them. So she starts aiming, and I'm pretty sure that's where uh this one ends. because it's the next one that I can't remember. Is he shot in this one or the
Yeah,
next
it's
one?
at the very end because it leaves off on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah, Gabby shoots Aaron, like just completely blows his head off, and his head is flying in the air, and the episode ends, and then we get two brothers. Um, which, if you want to talk about this one is the
Yeah,
we get
so
good.
uh it's we kind of have this moment. It's almost like it's frozen in time, where it is Zeke and Aaron, and they're seeing the tree again, the paths as they go up into the cosmos essentially. Um and we kind of have this moment where this is when Aaron is finally like, let's, uh take control, and use the founding titan and like and complete the plan. But in the moment, he finally reveals to Zeke that he does not agree with his plan and he's going to do his own thing. Um, and Zeke's in this moment of realization is like, yeah, I just wanted to see what your true intentions were. I already, uh, you know, made contact with Ymir, the founding titan. Um, so then it's at this moment where Aaron is then chained up on the beach and starts violently trying to pull his hands from the chains. And this is I think the reveal here is phenomenally done. We have this kind of moment where Zeke was not fully committed to the to like Aaron's ideas, and he didn't fully trust him. It was like, this is a test to see, where his true intentions are. Uh, and the way it turns around too, because he has this moment where uh like Aaron's, trying to get out. He finally manages to get out of the chains and traces down Ymir, and she's just continuing to walk towards the tree. And Zeke's like, you can't do anything. She's not gonna stop. Um, and what is it he says to her?
I can't remember.
It's something like, you don't have to follow or something. You can like choose your own path, something along those lines. I don't remember the
Yeah.
exact quote.
Yeah, because then he touches heads with Aaron and convinces Aaron to follow him.
Right.
Uh, and the only other thing I will say that we missed is Falco eating Porco.
Yeah.
That happens like right during this. And then we get Memories of the Future, which is one of my favorite episodes of the series. Um, this one and From You 2000 Years Ago are pretty close as my favorite. We get to see more of Zeke's background, and Zeke's kind of taking him through here, and he's like seeing the basement, and we get a huge reveal all the way back in season 1. We see Aaron talking to Grisha in the past, and it's one of the scenes that it's one of the first scenes in the series, in the first episode, where Zeke is leaving, or not Zeke, Jesus Christ, Grisha is leaving, and Aaron's just kind of there talking to him, and it's when Grisha tells Aaron about the basement, almost like he was told to do that. So we see Grisha yelling at Frida Reese, which is about a season ago at this point, a little more. Um, we had the reveal that Grisha killed the Reese family to obtain the Attack Titan,
Right.
and he's like pleading with her, like, "Hey, the Attack Titan's ability can see the memories of the future. I need you to save the world so Aaron doesn't like come into fruition." And she's like, "No, King Fritz swore it off. I can't help you." And he kills the Reese family. He takes the founding Titan. He he's trying not to. There's a bunch of the kids, and he's hesitating. He's like, I can't kill. And we see Eren sitting there talking to him, like telling him to do it. And Grisha's just like screaming. The camera's on his face, and he does it. The events of the past play out as they were meant to, and Grisha like breaks down. He's like he sees Zeke for the first time in all these years, and he knows it's him, and he's telling him that Eren's plan is gonna happen. It already has happened.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do to stop it. Please, please try and stop him. And he tells Zeke that I regret not being a better father to you. It's such a good episode. Um, and then Zeke reappears in the past, and he's pulled out of the memory.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about this episode as a first time watch?
1 second before I do that, just want to thank you, Jordan, for the gifted sub to Fuchsia. Appreciate that. Anyway, my thoughts on the episode are getting the reveal that everything that we've seen to this point was all basically because of Eren. He controlled this. He kind of what do you call it? Like a time warp, time paradoxed himself. I don't know. Well, not
Yeah,
really a paradox, but definitely like manipulated himself through time in a way that he wouldn't understand until he came back in contact with oh god, what's your name? It's gone from my head.
Ymir.
Is it Ymir?
Yeah, are you talking about the little girl?
Yeah, no, the other one, the one that had the royal family or the royal blood in
Oh,
her.
Historia.
Yeah, when he had the visions after he like made contact, because that's when everything shifted, right?
Yeah.
So I think when he made contact with her, that's when he realized like he's already set these plans into motion.
Yep. He's had these things in the works.
Yeah.
Um, so my second one of my other favorite episodes of the series from you 2000 years ago, a callback to the very first episode of the series to you 2000 years in the past, or no, it's in the future, and then now it's from you 2000 years ago. So really, really awesome play. It was 80 episodes later, and the title of the first episode means something. Um, so they're kind of Zeke and Eren are fighting over Ymir, and he's like enact the euthanization plan, and Eren like rips himself free from the chains, and Ymir is going towards the coordinate to do his plan, and we get a flashback 2000 years in the past, and we see Ymir. I don't know if I could say this, but she was raped. She was abused. She had a horrible, horrible life because she was blamed for letting this pig escape. And they're hunting her down, and she jumps into this tree. That tree is very important.
Yeah.
And she ends up in this deep pool in this entity. It looks kind of like a what do you call those things? A millipede, a centipede?
Like a cocoon? Are you talking like a cat? Like a
No. The thing that like
oh
comes out
yeah,
that looks
it's
kind of like a centipede.
definitely centipede-esque. Sorry, I
And
was
oh, you're good. Uh, did something happen in the chat?
no, I was trying to recall the episode because we watched this
Oh,
like 2 months ago.
yeah. It's been a little bit
Yeah.
since.
Jordan says, "Yeah, we could use use the Titan, or you could just show me the move." That's a Hot Rod reference if you've seen that movie.
I have not,
Yeah, tree is cool, but what about the bush, bro?
dude. So, this like weird looking creature kind of attaches itself to her, and it's revealed that that's how the Titans are created. She becomes the first Titan,
Yep.
and she's still being used as a slave, and she is made to father or mother, sorry, three children with King Fritz, Maria, Rose, and Sheena, which are the three names of the walls. They were named after the daughters. Ymir sacrifices herself when this dude kind of shoots this arrow trying to kill King Fritz, and Fritz gets the fucking kids over there, Mario, Rose, and Cena, and they eat her body so that when they have kids, they can keep passing on the power of the Titans. And she's sent to the paths, and she spends the next 2,000 years kind of dealing with the Titans, doing whatever. And time, we should mention, is very, very slow in the paths. So this is a long, long time to be in this place with nothing. But she is there for an elongated 2,000 years. 2,000 years that feels closer to 12 or 13.
Yeah, if we're using the reference from the other Ymir that is largely featured in season 2, she mentions that she was a Titan for roughly 60 years. Is it something like that?
And she was no, she was actually a Titan for 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was, oh, well, I see what you're saying. So that would have been torture for her.
Yeah, so like
much longer.
Do you think when somebody turns into a pure Titan, they're just like their mind is in the paths?
I don't know. I know if you are one of the 9, your soul is trapped in the paths when you die, which is why the thing happens when we get a little bit further.
Yeah.
But I don't know about pure Titans. I don't know if they're trapped in the paths or not.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure it's just the dead, or it's supposed to be. So where was I? I was talking. Oh, they're eating yeah, he calls his 3 kids over. They're eating the mother. We were there. I lost my train of thought.
You're good.
So after seeing this flashback, Eren is like, Ymir, this is freedom. You make the choice. And she chooses her future for the first time in her life. Instead of listening to Zeke with royal blood, she makes her own choice, which is her whole life. That's all she did was listen to the king. So she touches hands with Eren, and then we see the stone around the walls start crumbling, and all of the colossal Titans, we see all of them. They encase all 3 of the walls, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them, all around the area, and the rumbling begins. And all of them are transported to the paths because Eren now has control of a large majority of the 9. They're all put into the paths, and Eren is like, my name is Eren Yeager. To my friends, chill out, stay cool. I'm gonna trample the entire fucking planet, but just don't leave that island, please. I implore of you, stay right there. Let me do my thing. Let me kill all the innocent children. Let me kill a couple billion, and then I'll be back, and we can have like lunch. And they're all like, yeah, it's on me. They're all like horrified. I mean, imagine you're just sitting here, right? And then all of a sudden, when you look around, there's nothing but blue and all these things, and there's a voice of someone you know, and you see other people there with you that you know, and there's a voice just like, hey, everybody, I'm gonna kill a large percentage of the world's population now. You're just like, whoa. Like, you wouldn't even know what to do.
You just be sitting there and you just be like, how did I not see him like change like this beforehand?
Yeah, honestly. Oh, we're now on to Thaw, which is right where we started back up with this month, if you want to talk about the next couple.
Okay. One sec though. Okay. Jordan says, how do you like your mom? Well done or medium? Breast or thigh?
Medium. Thigh, please. Please. Well done.
All right. So we go on to this episode where we kind of have it recaps, and it's like everybody's just kind of thinking, is Eren like serious about this? Like, what do we do? Because nobody's sitting there and they're thinking, yeah, what if we just let Eren do that? I mean, they do debate on it quite a bit, truly. They're
They
like,
do, and for a little bit, it looks like John's gonna take him up on it.
yeah. Um, it's a wild portion right there, especially so where we are now. There's so much stuff happening with the Jaegerist, and it is unbelievable. We'll talk about it more, but it is insane. Um, but could you read me the synopsis for this episode? I'm trying to go off memory.
So this is the one where Reiner is like in this house, and Gabby is trying to find Falco. There's pure Titans everywhere. They find Falco, and they're like, "We should take him away." And then Connie gets a hold of him, and he escapes with Falco, and he's planning to feed him to his mom.
That's right. One thing I absolutely love about this episode, it's very short. It's like maybe 3 minutes of the episode, but we have this scene where all the like current characters that we've been with for the entire show are just taking out of all the pure Titans, and they do it within like just a couple of minutes, and it's like we get to see how far they've come in regards to just fighting Titans.
Yeah, and that soundtrack is so
Yeah,
good.
and we also get the send off for Pixis, who was one of the individuals that drank the wine.
Yeah, R.I.P. Pixis.
Yep.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I just was gonna finish up the synopsis for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm trying to remember what else happens after that big fight. I know it's like towards the end, and the Connie and Armin thing happens in this one too, doesn't it? Or is that the next one?
I don't know. We watched what, 6 episodes plus the 2 specials.
Yeah, pretty recently.
Yeah, so we're trying. It's going so quickly here. You can't blame us for it getting a little bit blurry.
Oh, no, that's not this episode. This one ends with them realizing that the hardening Annie's crystal,
Oh,
it's
okay.
been undone.
Yeah,
Because Armin's like, if he undid all of the Titan hardening in the world, if Reiner's armor fell off, that means Annie's free.
yeah. Who has been absent since the end of season 2?
End of season 1.
End of season. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Because
gets
I was
hardened
thinking
crystal.
because season 1 was longer than season 2.
Yeah, they had it 2 parts to season 1.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she hasn't been around since, oh my god, that was like, at this point, 60 episodes practically.
Yeah. Plus, in the grand scheme of the entire show's timeline, that's like 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So we have Ani, who is now thawed out, and um she's basically gone into like, she's crawled out of the dungeon where they've been keeping her, and what's her name, the other girl?
Oh, her friend?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Hitch, that's right. So Hitch is like going through, and she sees these like puddles going through the hall, and she's like, okay, I'll track these down. Goes into her room and is like, huh, nobody in here. And then Ani's behind her with her ring on, and she's already cut herself, and is like, all right, don't do anything. I've already cut myself. I could turn into a Titan any second. Which, can you imagine being like your first interaction with somebody that's been frozen for 4 years, like one of your best friends?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Annie doesn't even give a fuck. She just wants to see her dad.
Yeah, that's the big thing that we've kind of uncovered is it's Hitch and Armin have been like visiting, and she could like hear everything that they were saying, and her entire time between them being there, she's just thinking, I just want to see my dad. That was it. Which we also get a lot more backstory for how she was raised and how she learned all of the martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was honestly, yeah, that might be my favorite part of the episode, was just the whole backstory for it.
Yeah, it was really good. I just lost my entire train of thought. Oh, Isayama really knows how to like write solid stories for every one of his characters and really, really blur that line to where you're like, shit, like he did it to us with Reiner and Ani and
Mm-hmm.
Zeke.
Yeah, it's a
We
lot.
we learn about it's in those same two episodes. I think we skipped over it where Zeke we learn why he likes baseball.
Oh yeah, because there's his like father figure after Grisha is sent to Parody. He's basically adopted by what's his name? Oh god.
I forget.
Basically he's adopted by this man who likes to just play catch with him.
Yep. And he was the Beast Titan before him.
Yep.
And he passes it on to him, and we get to learn why Zeke believes that he wants to euthanize everyone. So, so we get a lot of the backstory stuff for Ani in this. I'm trying to remember what else happens. Is this where the battle happens? Or is that the next one between the Jaegerists and the Scouts?
I think it's the next episode.
Okay, so this one must be the one where it ends with Falco being awake, um, the reveal of Levi being alive in the post-credit scene,
Yep.
and fucked up but alive.
Yeah.
Like never walk again, pretty much. Um, I thought there was something else big that happened at the end of this one. I think it's just a lot of talking between Flock and them. Is this the one where shit, what's his name? Their trainer.
Oh, Eustates?
Yes, is this the one where he gets beat by Falco's men?
No, that was before. We skipped a few
Okay.
episodes for that.
Oh, I got you. Okay, and then it's the next one where they're gonna with John and okay. I'm trying to get these straight because we watched them like back to back.
Yeah, so for context, we were playing catch up a little bit for the last episode. We watched a few episodes the night before, and then the day of, we watched another 4 episodes plus the 2 specials for the finale. So the timeline is blurring a little bit.
Yeah, we watched a lot really fast, and it's a lot of information. Oh, Trent says Tom Saver is the past beast.
Okay.
Gotcha. Tom, that makes sense. So we have a lot of the wall titans were kind of they're out of there now. Can't see him any longer. We see Hanji and Levi, and she's stitching him up, and he is fucked up. Like he lost an eye. His legs are all fucked up.
Lost 2 fingers on his right hand.
Yep, yep. And he's just like, I gotta kill the monkey.
Yep.
I gotta kill Zeke.
This is my goal now. The monkey dies.
Yeah, the monkey dies. So this is where Connie and the Armin thing happens. Connie's gonna feed Falco to his mother, who is a Titan, and Armin goes to feed himself. And instead, Connie tackles him to the ground, and Connie kind of changes his mind. He's like, "Okay, you're right. Let's just go back." So they all go back, and they just find Annie, which is one of the funniest scenes in the entire series when they're all just like, they're like, I think Annie's around here somewhere, and like Armin and Connie are just sitting there with Mikasa, and they just look over, and Annie's sitting there with this big piece of pie, just shoving it into her face. And they're like, Annie, and she's just like chewing really aggressively.
Yeah, and then it's Connie just like, Annie's eating pie.
Trent says Levi has only a pointer and a middle finger and a thumb. Yeah, he loses his ring finger and his index finger. Or no,
I think it's the other way.
his
I think he
pinky.
loses his index and his middle finger, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought
And he
you
has
see
his
his
ring
thumb.
finger and his pinky and his thumb.
Yeah, because it was kind of like this.
Because he couldn't like operate the triggers on the ODM gear, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. What I'm gonna Google it because I'm curious now. He lost his index and middle finger. Yep, we were right. On his right hand. According to the official Attack on Titan wiki, he lost his right eye and is missing index and middle finger.
That makes sense, because if you think about the way he was standing on the cart when Zeke detonated.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And he's like their biggest warrior too.
Yeah.
So Hitch comes back with more pie for Ani, and there's a note saying, "Hey, I'm going with my friends." And Mikasa refuses to join the Jaegerists, and she gets her scarf back. And he's just like, "All right, that's fine. John, come up here and help me execute Yelena and Anya and Capone for treason." And Anya and Capone is like, "Hey, like, killing everybody in the planet, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a cool guy for helping him."
Like, I
And
thought we were cool. I no longer think we're cool.
yeah, exactly. And then he calls him some choice words, and then they go to execute him on the roof, and John like shoots into the ground. He fires 4 times, and it's revealed that that was a signal. We see Peak, the cart titan, come up, and she grabs John and takes off, and Yelena and Anya and Capone are in the mouth too, and they're going to Commander Magath, who is from Marley.
Yeah.
And we see that Levi and Hanji are with them, and Mikasa and Connie are leaving with supplies, and they also have Ani, Falco, and Gabby with them. And they see somebody in a window looking down on them, kind of watching what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they join with Reiner, and they decide that they're going to save the world. And then we get episode 25 of this season, Night of the End.
This is a big episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, like, what do I want to say? It's like kind of condensed.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of character stuff that happens. I have to pee.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. I've been talking, I've been drinking water. Just if you want to give a synopsis of this episode, you can.
No, I'll just edit this part out. Don't worry about it. Since Mikey's taking a pee break, I figured I'd take the time to tell you about our sponsor, W Energy. W Energy is a powdered energy drink that contains zero maltodextrin, zero fillers, and no artificial dyes or colors. And the best part is you won't experience any jitters or crashes. If you'd like to try W for yourself, head over to www.w.gg. That's www.dubby.gg and use code ConvictedToast, that's all one word, at checkout for 10% off your order. Back to the podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you. You know, this is the only downside to doing it live, but I think the upside of getting to chat with everybody is well worth it.
That's fair.
Well worth it. Sorry again, chat. Got an overactive bladder.
Unprofessional. I mean, what?
Dude. Oh, all right. So we're on the Night of the End. I got some more water too, that way I can keep talking.
That way you can pee again.
No. One per podcast. That's my rule. So we have this this episode starts with John, and he's kind of fantasizing about a future life for himself. Him and like a wife and a kid, and Hanji's like, "Hey, you good? We gotta stop a genocide here." And he tells Hanji, he's like, I want to live in the interior. And then he's reminded of Marco, who, another callback from a character that died in season 1. They kind of all get into like these debates around this campfire. We see all these people from Marley and all of these people from Parody. They're arguing about who the real devils are. And Ani confronts Mikasa. She's like, "Can you kill Eren? Like, if you have to, can you do it?"
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, and they both would kind of agree, like, let's ask him if he'll stop first. Um, so they're trying to figure out what their first course of action should be. They're like, we need to get this flying boat, which is pretty much. Would you describe the flying boat just like a zeppelin
Yeah, it's pretty
that
much
can
just a
float?
zeppelin. Um, but they, yeah, yeah. I suppose that's the closest thing you can give it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird piece of technology, but they're like, that's the only way we're gonna get there.
Well, it starts that way, and then when they like fully assemble it, it's basically just a like a plane.
Yeah, it's plain looking, but it like also fits like all of them.
Yeah,
And like at the where this is like, I don't know, this feels very World War I to me when this
yeah.
takes
It
place, but
feels
I
like it
guess
kind of develops into that kind of time period. It feels like.
like with how the state of the world is, it's its own thing.
Yeah,
Um, so Yelena's like, she starts talking about all of the acts that they've committed, all the horrible things that they've done, and how Reiner and Ani caused Marco to be eaten. Uh, they're just, it's fucked. And Reiner kind of starts feeling really guilty about Marco, and John starts beating the shit out of him. And Gabi is like, John, please, we need to save my family. And he's just done with it.
yeah,
And he comes back the next day. He's like, I'll join your alliance. I'll do it. And they go to where the flying boat is. He tells Gabi that he will never be able to forgive Reiner. And Pete kind of scouts it out, and they discover that the Jaegerists have full control over the port, and Flock has a Kiyomi Azumbito, first try, hostage. I had no idea what her name was, like, the entire time we were watching it, and I was reading this synopsis, and I saw that name, I'm like, "Whew, we got this."
From now on, they will be referred to as the hostage.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh, she's technically a descendant of, or an ancestor of, Mikasa and
hmm
Levi in some way. Uh, so then the next episode, Traitor, if you want to talk a little bit about this one, you can.
Um,
This is the one where they start their attack on the port.
right. Yeah. So it starts off with them going after the hostages to like kind of get that clear first, but in order to do so, they have Armin and Connie going up to the port, saying, "Hey, who is it?" They said, uh,
They said that Peak was attacking
yeah,
them, the
yeah.
cart.
They said Peak was trying to swim to the mainland, um, and they're like, we need to assemble the flying boat now so that we can catch up and get her." And they're like, guys, we were told that you were traitors. You're not traitors, right? And they're like, of course not. Why would we be traitors? Why would we want to stop Aaron?
Yeah,
um
man, we've been on your side the whole time. Like, what?
yeah. And then Flock, is it Flock or Flock? Which
Flock.
Flock?
Very, yeah. All the names, if you're
It's
struggling, it's German.
Yeah. So Flock is basically like, he's very suspicious. He's like, where have they been this entire time? And now all of a sudden they need the flying boat. That's weird. Um, the entire flying boat is covered in like dynamite, and they're like, we have orders to like blow this up. And they're like, we need it.
Yeah, we need it right now. Let's get this TNT off this thing.
It's very much like oh, these aren't pies, they're bombs from a bomb factory.
Yeah. I was just about to say it's like a little kids cartoon where they like convince the bad guys to like walk away. But it is goofy and it is silly, but at the same time, they trust them.
Yeah.
They've known them for years.
Yeah. and it's so crazy to see how I mean, the whole situation is very morally gray at this point, except for the fact that I don't think it's very morally gray when Eren is trampling the world's population.
An argument can be made for that.
You're not wrong. However, can you justify that to yourself?
You just gotta go like this for like an hour.
I think it's more than an
And it'll be
hour.
over. It's a few days. Just go like this. Audio listeners, it's just covering your eyes. That's all you gotta do. Just like that. And then let Aaron do his thing. You open your eyes. Cool. Like everything's smooth sailing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's
But
it's like it's like that Louis C.K. bit where he's like talking about how to get rid of peanut allergies. He's like, if we just left peanut butter everywhere and went like this for like a year, we'd have no more peanut allergies.
that's Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Trent says they went to boot camp together. Yeah.
yeah, that's insane because that's I'm pretty sure at this point it's been 4.5 years, if I'm not.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So they're like, hey, we know these guys. They would never like betray us or anything. I guess we can take the dynamite off.
Yeah, I guess we can,
Yeah, so they like unwire it and everything, and then I'm trying to remember what triggers everything.
It's oh shit.
Basically the whole like spy thing, it's
Oh,
not working.
I think it's right when Mikasa breaks in. Because she breaks in because they're about to kill.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was like kind of in position waiting, and like if anything went to happen, she'd go in. Um, that's right.
And then Flock is like, "Hey, they're bad guys," and they get the Azabito. They get it into the basement for safety, and then there's the huge battle starts happening. Reiner and Ani both transform into their Titans, and they start their attack on the Jaegerists. And Armin tries to stop Daz from rearming the explosives, and he is shot by Samuel, like what, through the jaw?
It's like straight through like the side of the mouth. I don't know.
Yeah,
It probably hit jaw, but there's no way to really know. Just the way
and he,
going out the way it's drawn.
yeah, and Armin is shot in the face, and Connie and Armin are kind of wrestling with the two of them, and Connie stops. He shoots and kills Daz and Samuel,
Yep.
and Armin has this like memory of Bertolt crying and talking about how someone must get blood on their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking crazy ass episode. It's the next few guys.
Yeah.
The
We
next
also
few.
get this great scene. I think it's in this episode where basically all the characters are going through. You have Reiner and Ani and their Titan forms just decimating everybody. Mikasa's going around also just handling Jaegerists left and right, and then we get this moment where they're like, "There's gonna be reinforcements coming," and like this whole this train's pulling through, and then out of nowhere, the whole train just explodes, and it's like, "Huh, that's weird. Don't know who did that."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. We get that. I can't remember if it's this one or the next one. We get it.
I
The
want to
next
say it's
episode.
the beginning of the next episode. We get it.
Well, they're still doing the battle because remember they're pushing
Yeah,
the boat into the water and then.
yeah,
Oh, you mean 28?
yeah,
Gotcha. My bad. So retrospective episode 27 starts. The battle is still going on. They're all kind of fighting, and Falco's like, "I gotta fight." So um, he joins the fight as well, and they see all these Jaeger reinforcements. That's in this episode. The
yeah,
train, and the train explodes and derails, and Falco transforms into the Jaw Titan for the first time, and Flock tries to destroy the ship's hull with a thunder spear, and Gabby shoots him down and he falls to the sea. presumably dead. So Falco's kind of like losing control, and Magath gets him out of his Titan, and they notice that there's a Marleyan cruiser at the shore. He decides to stay back and destroy it, and he runs into Keith Sadie's, and it's revealed that he was the one, as Mr. Toast was saying, he took out the train. And at this point, he's like, well, we got to blow this thing up. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the series, because we get these two military commanders, one from this side of the sea and one from this one, and they are kind of just like having this heart to heart in this ship before they both blow it up, and
because
they're
at
gonna
this
go
point
down.
they're both like, they've been military for like their entire lives. It's been their career forever.
Yeah. And they like have these words back and forth about their time and like the people they've trained and their service and everything like that. And the ship explodes, and I think one of the most like upsetting parts is that the group knows that Magath went to blow that up.
Yeah.
They don't even know that Keith Shady's their military instructor from 4 years ago was protecting them the whole time.
Yeah. He was the one in the window, by the way, a few episodes previous.
Yes, that as well. Yes, he was watching them. He was looking down on them as they left, and that's a really good ending to that episode.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a post-credit scene in this one before we get to the what is technically the final part of part 2. Hanji is telling them like her estimations, and she's like, Marley and Liberio, which is where all the Eldians are, and Marley is going to be destroyed, and there's nothing they can do. And Ani, again, she's like, Mikasa, can you do it? Can you kill him? It's really good. This next episode, The Dawn of Humanity, kind of serves as a big like wrap up point before we get to the next two, which is really the end. This kind of serves as like your ladder to that point. We see the scouts when they got to Marley for the first time, and like them eating ice cream and everything for the first time ever. And Sasha's like, "What is this?" And there are some people there that Hanji is trying to get peace with, the subjects of the Ymir Protection Group, and they realize that Aaron's gone. It's weird. And Aaron kind of questions Mikasa's loyalty, asking what he means to her, and she's like, "You're my family," and it's a really interesting scene that's going to play off a lot more in the last bit of this.
Yeah.
So they're talking. One of the representatives from the protection group is kind of talking about how the devil is a parody, should be exterminated, and everybody's cheering. And they're the protection group for the subjects of Ymir. And there's subjects of Ymir on that island. That's all they are. And even to them, they're like, they need to all be killed.
Yeah.
They're all devils. And Aaron disappears, and he doesn't have any contact with them. It's revealed to the audience that he had no contact with any of them until right before the assault on Liberio happened. And we get this other flashback where Aaron meets Yelena, and Aaron meets Zeke, and he's telling him the euthanization plan, and he also reveals to Aaron that Ackermans are not compelled by blood to protect a host. And Mikasa's been helping him and protecting him and caring about him this whole time, not because she had to, but because she loved him. And that is something that conflicts with what Aaron was telling her earlier in season 4, that the Ackerman bloodline is sworn to protect the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan and everything. And it's really cool to have that little moment right before everything goes down, revealing that that wasn't true and that he lied to him.
Yeah.
And Aaron's talking to Zeke, and he's saying that he wants his friends to live long, happy lives after he dies. And in the present, we see the Global Alliance. They're like, gotta stop him. He's right there. And we just see like thousands. This is the first time we get like a close-up view on what's happening.
Yeah.
Because after the rumbling started, we didn't see anything. We just kind of stuck with our main group and what was happening on Parody. And we see the thousands of Titans, and we see Aaron's head just fucking stretched up into the sky in this huge like skeleton rib cage looking back, just all bones except for the flesh that's on his face.
Yep.
And we see the rumbling reach Marley, and it starts to trample the mainland. And Aaron declares that he's going to destroy the world as the Colossal Titans set foot on the mainland.
Yeah, it's honestly, that scene is so crazy because you had the moment where just before they get to the mainland, you have the like entire fleet, the Marleyan fleet is literally sitting there waiting for them, and they start firing all the weapons and everything at them, and they manage to take out maybe a dozen, if that.
Yeah, barely any. And a lot of them are taking out the other ones, like if they get the legs.
Yeah.
And they trip over each other.
Yeah, and then that the entire fleet's wiped out, and they make contact with the mainland, and there's another like group just sitting there waiting with anti-Titan weapons, and they see the entire thing, and they just abandon it. They just start running for their lives.
Yeah, and then we get the scene with Zeke and Aaron when we see a lot of Aaron's like inner emotions about how he's feeling about the acts he's going to commit. It adds a lot to what we see in the finale. So I guess that brings us to part 3. There's technically 2 chapters in this that we can break it down into: the rumbling and sinners.
Yeah.
The rumbling is just that. We see Aaron destroying groups of people all over the world. Ani is on the ship, and she tells we get this moment with her and Armin where it seems like there's some feelings between the two of them, and she decides that she's going to stay behind and not go with them to confront Aaron. She's like, my dad's already dead. I'm tired of fighting. And they're like, yeah, Ani's had like, all these fights. And I was talking to Keegan about this great meme where it's like, it shows like Reiner and Peak and Armin, and they're all like just completely like grizzled and battling like weak. And they're like, don't worry, Ani, we got this battle. And she's sitting there and she's like, thanks, I've fought enough in my lifetime. And she's just like completely fine.
Just a quick little side note. So the connection between Armin and Ani, how much of it do you think comes from Bertolt?
50%.
Think 50?
I think it's 50-50.
Hmm.
Because I think it started with that, but I think the more
You think it
Armin
developed more beyond that?
Yeah. I feel like 50% of like the meter was full, and then Armin was able to push it like the other 50%.
Okay.
So we're in the rumbling. 1 second.
That was at least 6 seconds. I don't know.
My bad. So Ani decides to stay back, and they're about to take off, and Flock is alive. And he starts shooting at them, and Mikasa fires her ODM gear and hits him in the throat with it.
Yeah.
And he hits the deck.
It's such a gruesome death, but also you can't help but be like, that's kind of cool, because he's held up for a second where like he's kind of leaning back and it's just in his throat, um and he's like still standing for a few seconds.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Um, then after that, they realize that the flying boat, it's leaking oil, and they need someone to stay behind and kind of take out some of the colossal titans, slow down their push up, get like their front line. And Hanji's like, I'm the leader of the Survey Corps. I'm going to do this. And she appoints Armin as the next commander of the Survey Corps, and she goes against the colossal titans alone. And she's killing a few of them, and she bursts into flames and hits the ground. And we see Hanji welcome to the afterlife by all of the other scouts that have passed away, including Erwin.
Yeah, I also
And
want to say that she goes out the only way I think Hanji could ever go out. She's walking up, Levi's like, "What do you think you're doing?" He's like, "Don't stop me. I have the need to go out in incredible fashion right now."
yeah,
But
yeah,
also the fucking music is so good.
it is. It's one of the best deaths in the entire series. It's done really well. Me and Keegan were both crying.
Yeah,
We were like, we need a minute.
we sat there for a good at least 5 minutes, and we were both just like, "You good?" Like, no.
I think he said, "Why are my eyes doing this to me?" Yeah, it's a really good death. It's such a good start to this final part, and then it immediately begins into chapter 2, which is called Sinners. Um, we Armin is like, "Hey, we could still have a peaceful resolution to all this," and Eren brings them into the paths, and he's like, "If you want to stop me, kill me, or else you won't."
Yeah,
And he's like, "I'm not gonna stop you." Well, he's not going to like
he's not gonna
restrain
roll
them.
over.
Yeah, he's not gonna roll over, but he's not gonna restrain them. He's like, "That's your freedom. If you want to stop me, that's your right." And Falco's talking to Annie, and he's like, "I think I can fly." So there's a bunch of refugees. They're trying to get out, and they see a bunch of airships launching an assault on Eren. They're like, "Holy fuck! We got this! We got this! We got this!" And the beast titan like manifests itself from like the bone of the Warhammer Titan, and just throws shit, throws shit at all the planes, just like fucking King Kong in 1935.
Yeah,
Knocks them all down, and they're like, "Well, shit." And then we see the flying boat, and the scouts and the warriors jump off. We see Peak and Reiner transform, and Reiner jumps onto the Beast Titan, and uh, Armin's like, "Eren, what about you is free?" And that's the end of part 1. I don't think I missed anything.
I don't think so.
Uh, it's a really, really solid episode. Keegan is very lucky because he watched it the day that the last episode came out, and a lot
Yeah.
of others had to wait like
You were like,
7 months.
everybody's been waiting 7 months, and I'm like, I have to wait 7 hours.
Yeah, yeah, he was complaining. He was like, "Is the final episode out yet?" I was like, "No, it'll probably be out tonight." And he's like, "I have to wait 7 hours." I was like, "Dude, everybody else waited 7 fucking months." I was like, "For me, it was 10 years from like the start of the show." And I just recently, back in like February, I watched all of this, and then starting in August, I started watching it all again. Uh, so here we go, part 4. We start with the battle of heaven and earth. There's not a ton that really happen in this one that like we can like go in depth on. It's just a lot of battles. We see versions of the Nine Titans appearing
Yeah, that I think
because
it's one of the coolest things that we can mention is that the Warhammer Titan is basically being used to manifest all the previous carriers of the nine.
Yeah, and we see all of these different versions, and some of them look so strange just because of when it was taken on and how the Titans have changed over the years.
Yeah, because it's dependent on like each Titan like host. It's different. Like like Falco can fucking fly, so
Yeah, and Armin's taken away uh by this like owl looking thing. I think I don't remember what it looks like. I just know it kind of took him.
oh, it's the
And
like pig thing. Yeah,
oh, that's right, it's the pig. Yeah, yes, no, you're right. And
I wonder what variant of the Titan that is.
I bet it's a beast
That could be.
because it would be an animal. Um, so Armin is like kind of suffocated. He's not killed, and he is at the paths. And we see Ani and Gabby arrive and kind of save everybody's ass because they're getting their ass handed to them by Aaron's Titan, and Ani and the rest can swoop down on Falco. His Jaw Titan can fly, and he rescues them. And we see Armin in the paths, and he discovers Zeke.
Just building sandcastles.
Yeah, he's just sitting there on the beach, just kind of doing whatever, which
Just
starts the next episode or next chapter, A Long Dream.
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Um, how long do you think it feels like he's been sitting there just building sandcastles?
At least a year,
You think?
I think so.
Hmm.
Half a year to a year, I would say.
Yeah. It's
Like in his time.
yeah. Definitely just how many sandcastles do you think he built?
I don't know. Do you think he got like really bored, started like counting the grains of sand?
he
Had
he
a
like started
pile.
a pile and then he lost count because they just built his pile on sand.
Yeah. So they kind of talk about the meaning of life, and Zeke is like talking about how he wants everybody to die, and Armin's trying to convince him otherwise. And finally, they kind of are able to work together, and they call on deceased Titan shifters that
Yeah.
we've seen throughout the series to kind of help them.
I also love the symbolism when Zeke's like, "Where did you find that?" As Armin pulls something out of the sand, and for Zeke, he sees the baseball, but Armin sees what is it? He sees something different.
Is it the shell?
Yeah, it's a seashell. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're seeing different things from like their past.
And with what you know now, do you think that was kind of Aaron sending back a hint?
It might be, yeah.
Because when they're on the beach, they have the shell.
Yeah.
Man, with all these beaches, we might have to push back the Death Stranding episode a week and do the Guardians one first. I feel like all we said is beach, and then if we do Death Stranding, all we'll be talking about is beaches.
Yep.
So Zeke kind of materializes, and he's like, "Oh man, the sunset. If I would have seen that before, maybe I wouldn't have done all this." And then Levi just fucking cuts his head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just fucking murks him right there. Um, and then Armin uses the Colossal Titan, and it releases the centipede-like thing, the source of all Titan power, and it's kind of like flipping around. And there's a bunch of Eldians there, and they kind of get down, and they're like, "Oh shit, did we do it? Like, is it dead?" And we see this gas, um, kind of like pouring out everywhere, and it's like Zeke's spinal fluid that he had put in the wine. And we see John and Connie and all these others start turning into like pure titans.
Yeah. Which from what you told me, that was not in the manga. That was a change that they did in the anime.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember that happening in the manga. I don't remember John and Connie being turned into titans, unless they did it very quickly and I missed it. I don't remember that part at all, which kind of takes them out. You forgot to talk about the fight to get back Armin. We kind of just were roping that into the fighting on Aaron's back
Yeah.
because that's pretty much what a lot of that
A, a
first
lot of
episode is.
a lot of the last episodes here is a lot of fighting, and it's very well animated, and we think you should watch it if you haven't already. In fact, if you're here and you're listening to us talk about the ending of a show that you haven't watched, that's a little weird. I think you should go watch it.
Unless you're getting the story like from us, and it's like that. You ever seen that show Drunk History?
Yeah, yeah.
Where they get somebody, let's us, like explaining the plot of them, and like when we get to these parts, it's just like me, Charlie Day, with the billboard. I'm like the Marley and parody, like pointing to the billboard or the whiteboard. I got all
Yeah.
the strings and everything. Um, so they're like, shit. Now we gotta fight Aaron. Aaron turns into a colossal titan, and Mikasa and Levi are the only ones left with Armin to kind of be able to take him down. And Levi uses this thunder spear, and it breaks open the mouth. Like, well, I should say that Armin turns into the Colossal Titan, and they kind of have a brawl
Yeah.
between the two of them. And Levi uses a thunder spear. He opens up Aaron's mouth, and we see his human head in the mouth. And Mikasa slides in and just cuts his head off very slowly and just goes right through. She grabs his head and she kisses his head and
Yep. just holding it.
yeah, pretty much. And then Ymir is freed from the paths. She's allowed to pass on, and all of the Titan powers in the world are gone. No one is a Titan. John and Connie are returned back. None of the Titan wielders are going to die. Um, all of the Titan powers basically on Earth are gone. Sam said, I've only seen the first season. That is exactly how it was when Mike got back into AOT. Was trying to explain to me what happens after season 1.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Well, just thinking back on it, since we're here, it's good for some reflection. Thinking back on the fact that the first episode is just, it's so simple. Like life is just, they don't know anything, so it's just simple.
Yeah, but then in the background, all the pieces are there, and you
Yeah.
don't know them for something more.
Yeah, it starts piecing together, and we understand like all the connections that have been laid before basically the story was set in stone before we even started.
Yep. And all of the foreshadowing and everything is just so good. So good how everything kind of plays out at the end. And that's when we get the final chapter that I'm going to segue into, Toward the Tree on That Hill. After Aaron dies, Armin gets his memories back about a conversation that he had with Aaron, talking about his true motives. And Aaron, it's really cool because Aaron is explaining this to him in the past, but he's explaining to him the future.
Yeah.
That's really mindfucky. Yeah, I say that out loud, but that's what he's doing. He's explaining to him, you know, what's going to happen, and Armin's like pissed, and it's revealed how many people Aaron killed. 80% of the world's population.
Yeah.
Armin decks him. He's like, "You're a loser. Uh, why would you do that?" And he was like, "It's a world free of Titans." And he's like, Armin's like, "Well, hopefully Mikasa moves on." And this is the only change that I didn't like at all from the manga to the anime, is they kind of make Aaron a little pathetic here.
Yeah, it's a very like I was watching it just like that's very like strange. That is so that very out of character, truly.
Yeah, he's like crying and he's like, "I don't want Mikasa to ever find anybody else but me." I'm like, dude.
He's like, I wanted her yearn after me for at least 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you just killed like 80% of the world. Um, so Armin they're mourning everything, and Armin's like, "I'll take credit for killing Eren. You get out of here. They won't let you have his body." And she takes Eren back with them to Paradis, and the scouts and the warriors are heroes now. And we see 3 years later, 80% of the world gone. The Jaegerists have like pretty much instituted a full blown like fucking socialist, nationalist socialist democracy, not democracy, but government in Paradis. They've taken over big time, and they're trying to prepare for a revenge attack. While the Scouts and Warriors become the world's ambassadors for peace negotiations with them. Mikasa buries Eren's head under a tree that would that they would kind of hang out under when they were kids that we saw, and then we get to see all of our heroes from the entire series coming back to Paradis. They're all on this boat. They're ambassadors, and Levi's not there. It's revealed that Levi is like a candy salesman in Marley, and he's sitting in the chair and he's handing out lollipops to kids. And the credits start to roll, and we get this great song, and we see all these generations pass. We see Paradis grow and shrink and grow, and then bombed and destroyed. We see Mikasa laying dead in her coffin whenever she dies and buried with Eren. And then we get, after the credits are over, we see Paradis now, and there's like all this grass over it, and it's been abandoned essentially. And there's this guy and his dog, and he approaches the tree, and it looks identical to the tree that Ymir found the source of the Titan's power.
Yep.
And he starts to look down into it, and the series ends.
So do you speculate that it's going to continue, like the cycle of Titans is going to continue?
That will. But like as for like a sequel, or no.
Yeah, I don't think a sequel would ever happen because the story's already, you can't really change like that much of it. So but I think overall, like having that not speculation, but that kind of, the Titans will like continue to repeat themselves throughout history no matter what happens.
Yeah. After a lot of time has passed, yeah. And it kind of makes you think, was this whole thing the first time that this had happened?
Right.
Which is really mindfucky.
Yeah. Also,
Especially because they have the power. Sorry, I'll let you. I just wanted to say, because they have the power to erase people's memories.
right.
How many times?
I just wanted to mention, I don't know how, if you saw them or not, but I saw so many people posting like on their like Snapchats and Instagram stories, like just the final screenshot of where it says the end. And they're just like, my favorite thing came out of it though was the Stewie from Family Guy, and he's like, well, I should get some sleep, and it has the end in the background. He flicks the light off, turns over, covers himself with a blanket, and just starts weeping.
Yep. Because every episode up to that point was shown as to be continued.
Yeah.
And this is the first one where marks the end.
Yep.
I love the ending. I would like to get your thoughts on it, because this is a controversial ending for a lot of people.
Yeah, I personally, I think it was very well done. I didn't read the manga to know what like big changes really happened, if there were any.
Honestly, just digestion stuff. It's the same ending.
Okay. So yeah, largely I think that I really like the ending. Because I like the reveal that we get that Eren didn't change personalities, but he kind of uh compartmentalized that part of himself to do what he thought he needed to do. We also forgot to mention that in the, when he's speaking with Armin, and he's, Armin is reliving the memories that he had blocked out, that Eren says to him on that day, I sent that Titan after my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, he killed his own mom to make sure that the future happened the way that it was supposed to.
Yeah, very dark.
Yeah, it's whew. Yeah, so what are your thoughts? You've ranked everything else. What do you give? I can put it all together. The final 3 chapters together.
That's a 10, baby.
That's a 10. What do you give the series as a whole?
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Let me we got to do this. There's got to be one. This is completely unscripted, but let me see if there is one.
Okay. You
There
looking for a tier
is.
list?
Yeah. Yeah, we could just loop like we just did. If I share my screen, will it be on the podcast?
Yeah, I just have to open it.
Okay, cool. Ignore all of my tabs. All right. So I don't know why it's numbered 1 to 7. We don't have to do it like that. I'm gonna actually change it, and then I'm just gonna, I don't even think we'll need a C. But all right, where do you think we should put the beginning? Season 1, Part 1.
I'd say A tier. I think it starts off really strong.
I'd say so too. A tier. Season 1, Part 2.
Also A tier. I don't think anything's gonna be below a B.
Above or below Part 1?
Uh, that's a
Because I
tough
said
call.
for me it's below just because the first 13 episodes really do a lot, and then that next 12 are a little bit slower. Like we get the female Titan, but it's things aren't into high gear yet.
Right. And we're still very much in the dark in regards to, like, we have only speculation. We don't have a full mystery uncovered just yet.
Yeah. Season 2.
That's S tier.
Yep, I was just about to say introduction to the Beast, the reveal of Reiner and Bertold,
Yeah.
Historia. There's so much in season 2. Season 3, Part 1.
Um, I don't like it as much as the rest of it. I love a lot of the stuff that we get uncovered, but I would say it's probably top of A tier for me.
Top. See, I was gonna say for me, it's like right in between these two, like sandwiched.
Okay.
Because, well, I really like the uh the Kenny, the Kenny stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like this part is a little bit slower, and it's just like we literally just went from Aaron being taken to Aaron being taken.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I think that's a good place. Middle A.
season 3, Part 2.
It's definitely S tier, but I don't know if I put it above or below season 2.
For me, I'm gonna say above because this is arguably one of the best episodes in the series. Uh, with
Yeah.
the decision between Armin and Erwin, and then we get like so much revealed, and this is where Aaron touches Historia's arm, the basement.
Yeah. A big thing with this too is we were before the podcast started, we were talking about the top like 50 TV episodes of all time. And the episode where Levi's forced to choose between Erwin or Armin is what ranked like 13 on that list.
Yeah, it was in like the top 20. It is an amazing episode.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it goes above season 2.
Very cool. Season 4, Part 1, the Marley arc.
Now we just got to put stuff in S tier and figure out where it goes.
All right. All right. Where is
um I think season 4 part 1 is in a good place there. I probably put it above season 2. And then we just got to figure out where part 2 goes. I want to hear your argument.
Part 2, I think, with the episodes, Memories of the Future, and to you 2,000 years ago, I think for those 2 episodes alone, I would put it right under season 3 part 2.
Okay.
Uh, just and all of this, there is so much that happens, and we get so many deaths, so much shit happens. The final battle, everything is out on the table. The reveal of Eren manipulating Grisha. I don't know why I clicked on your stream. Instinct. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Um, I don't know. I don't really have any sound arguments, to be honest. It's everything that we've covered here has been phenomenal. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is a tough one to call. Here, let's make it easier. Hold on. Well, now fuck, because I want to
You've
move all
made it
these
more
on.
difficult.
We'll just leave it like that. Let's leave for our audio listeners. S tier, season 3 part 2, season 4 part 1, season 2, season 4 part 2. A tier, season 1 part 1, season 3 part 1, or season 1 part 1, season 3 part 1, and then season 1 part 2. So I guess it's fair to say that we both thought that season 1 was the weakest season,
Yeah.
whereas season 3 had a weak beginning, but the second half is among the best.
Yeah, but it's not saying anything that the first season's weak, because even like with that perspective, it's still phenomenal.
Yeah, 100%. Now let's do every episode.
Hold on.
Let's see. I guess seasons 1 to 4, does this got them all? Oh my god.
Somebody filled this one out already.
They put all of the final in. They put the OVAs above the last episode. Whoever did
Yo,
this. What the fuck?
that's a baby. We found a baby's fucking
Oh, they
tier
got
list.
Memories of the Future from you though in S tier. Audio listeners, we're looking at a tier list of somebody who had already ranked all of them. The fact that the OVAs 2, 3, yeah, this is all 5. This is literally just the final 2 episodes.
That's crazy.
I think that who did this? Whoever that is, they got brain damage.
Yeah, for sure.
The fuck?
All right. Well, I think we just about covered
Do you have any final thoughts or on the series, or what you'd like to rate the series as a whole?
So this is definitely my top 3 anime of all time. For those that are now curious, it's Cowboy Bebop's number 1. This is probably number 2, and Samurai Champloo is number 3.
Wow. I still need to watch Champloo. That is coming up. Look out for that. We will be doing that. Which is pretty much the opposite of what we did here, where I'm an AOT veteran, and Keegan is now an AOT veteran.
Yep.
He's going to be taking me through Samurai Champloo. I think our next episode. Do you want to do Guardians next, or do you want to do Death Stranding next?
Let's do Guardians next, and then we'll do Death Stranding, because I do want to go through maybe like watch a video or something to get refreshed on Death Stranding, because it's been 3.5 years since I actually finished the game.
It's been about 6 months, and I still hurt from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it out of us. Sorry for the delay in the episode. We had some life going on, but we got episode 13 out to you guys just the same. We appreciate you guys being in here, chatting with us, lurking with us. Audio listeners, we love you. YouTube listeners, wherever you're watching us, you're great. Thank you for checking out our content and listening to us, 2 grown men, gotta emphasize that, ramble about an anime that we really liked.
Yep.
Means the world to us, and thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't watched Attack on Titan yet, please do so. It is phenomenal. Additionally, Hanji's best character. That's all.
Oh, I should have asked you then. I guess that is your favorite.
Yeah,
Mine's probably Ervin, I would say,
that's fair. Ervin is
or
very good
Reiner.
too.
Reiner's up there.
But yeah, that's it from us. You all have a fantastic evening, day, night, whenever it is that you're witnessing this, and yeah, tune in for the next one.
Yes, thank you guys.